Welcome to Riverbend Talon on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Wave at the camera, Pigpen.
Hi.
I'm Dennis, and that's your star, Pigpen.
The star.
Dude,
Jeez.
I heard you've been getting fan mail.
I don't know about that. I think there was some a funny substance sent to me. I think it might have been.
No.
I don't know what it was, but they're
Fake news right off the bat.
Fake news right off the bat.
All right,
send
man.
me some arsenic. I don't know.
We'll just pass right past that comment and
right.
move right on to our topic of tonight, and that is Riverbend Talon, brought to you by Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance. And remember, this weekend is the blood drive, right?
Right.
From 10 to 2 at Halpin. And I heard, I don't know, this could be fake news, I heard Matt Van Voorhis will insure each pint of blood. So,
I don't think that's true.
No, probably.
I don't think that's true. They will ensure that it goes to someone who needs it.
What we're really asking you to do is, get to Halpin Music this weekend. If you've been wanting to stop by and thank them, it's perfect time.
Absolutely.
10 to 2, donate some blood.
Get a $5 card. Get a $5 gift card for it. That's worth it.
After that trip overseas, Pigpen, I don't know if they'll take your blood, but
well, I don't know. I think they could.
There's a lot of stipulations.
They could use it on patients that have suffered severe trauma. I think it could calm them down. My blood would soothe them. I don't know.
Well, especially medical marijuana patients, because they're going to want to replenish some THC with their.
There you go.
So you got a little extra.
I don't know what's going on.
If that's the case, maybe. I don't know.
It's good to be a patient sometimes. Anyway.
We're being very patient right now.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get down to Thursday night because things are already happening. Yeah. Things are getting started. Mm-hmm. So, every Thursday night, what's going on at Morrison's?
The sea shanties.
The sea shanties.
Right.
A bunch of Irish whiskey going around and a bunch of people singing songs.
And they're open micing at the Germania Brewhouse.
The Brewhouse. I love
on Broadway, right? And at the Raging Cajun Gone Tea.
Right. We got DJ Denise Williams at Bossanova.
Every Thursday night.
Martini.
That covers most of our every Thursdays. Now we'll get into other stuff.
Right.
So DJ Bobby Light tonight at the Back Bar in Edwardsville.
There we go. We got Jared Umfried of The Hideous Gentleman going to be at Deutz Village Inn on tonight. So they're doing Thursday now, too, not just Friday and Saturday.
That's at 7 o'clock, so you got time to get there.
You got time. If you leave now, you're going to make it in no time.
How about this name? If you're a guy that plays patio, why not call yourself Patio Joe?
I didn't see that one yet. Yeah. That's a good one.
I misspelled prairie. I always misspell that word. I don't know why.
Yeah, there's two eyes. Two eyes.
I think I was too busy focusing on Patio Joe.
Well, that's a good one. Hey, Patio Joe.
But Prairie Inn in Dorsey is why I'm bringing that up, 6 to 10 tonight.
There you go. Adam Gaffney, 6 p.m. at George's local brew in Jerseyville.
Right. And then Flip the Frog at the Hog Pit tonight.
There you go. All the frog flippers head on down to Grafton.
Right.
Man, that is a decent little Thursday night going on for this area. That's a Thursday, not a Friday, not a Saturday. That's a Thursday. Lots to do. So, and if you're ever roaming around downtown or in the Riverbend area and you're going, man, those guys are always talking about all the stuff to do. What's going on? I don't remember. What do? You log on. You get on your phone, log on to cottonmouth.org.
Yep.
And first thing that's going to come up, it'll take a second. It'll pop up all these gigs we're talking about.
Yeah, so and if you're watching the video, because we make a video of this on Thursday nights, we post it on YouTube the next day. All the gigs are just listed in the comments section below. Now, the links aren't with all the gigs, but if you're just wanting to see what they say, all you got to do is look at the comments section.
Scroll down, baby.
Right. Now, also in that comment section, we have links to all our guests and their events. So, because
and tonight,
if I was to take time to link every one of those, it would take
a while.
A long time.
But
I did, give you a link to cottonmouth.org. So, a couple links and you're there anyway.
There you go. And like you say, you put a link up to the guest each week. And we have a guest this week.
Right. And I'm pumped. It was a blast.
That was a fun interview. We had talked about getting Paul Light and and Lisa Everhart in here for quite a while. And sometimes we talk about things for a year before we actually get down to it because things move fast in this business. Things are really speeding up here toward the end.
And there was so much to talk about with them.
We barely touched Lisa because I could barely get through the history of Paul.
I do not know what you just admitted to, but yeah, Paul Light was very interesting.
I said I barely touched her. I touched her a little.
I know you're usually the one that goes there, but for some reason tonight,
I missed it.
Maybe I was just on guard against you. But
thank you for catching that, because if had I noticed that I said that, I would have been like, "Oh, I touched her just a little. Oh, geez, so little, she barely noticed."
One thing I do remember though about that is I think we just kind of jumped into that interview without failing. We kind of touch on it, but just to give everybody a background before that starts, they owned the Lighthouse bar before it was Lighthouse Studios,
right?
And then they had Shakers, which is where the Bottle and Barrel is now,
right?
Right, and to add to everything else they've done with their music.
So it's really interesting. Going to be a great interview. So we should. Should we get into it?
We should, and hopefully the computer will not crash. It does not like these long files because it's a long one.
Oh yeah. We had a lot to talk about.
Right.
Very
so we'll take a break. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll hit that and then we'll come back and do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what's going on around town.
There we go.
Which is what everybody's waiting to hear.
All right,
we'll be back with more Riverbend talent after this, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company. Don't forget about the Blood Drive this weekend, Saturday, 10 to 2, right there at 88 Northport Drive. Perfect time to stop in and thank Halpin Music for keeping the show in the air. Or you can tell them how much you hate it. I don't care. Either way, they know you're listening.
Would you please stop paying for those guys to be on the air?
Right. And Matt Van Voorhis, don't forget him for all your insurance needs, Macias Insurance. And thanks to Barry Macias. He kicked in on it last time. So.
Oh, thank you, Barry. Yeah. Oh, geez, those guys, they're the best.
We're starting stuff. Let's just move on. All right, here we go. Back with Everhart and Light after this on Riverbend Talent.
And now more.
Riverbend Talent.
With Dennis Laird and Pigpen on 94.3 FM, The Big Z.
Back with more Riverbend Talent on The Big Z, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance.
Thanks to Halpin for all the great music equipment through the years, and thanks to Mr. Matt for insuring me. Well, music instruments and insurance, that's all I need in life, right?
Right.
Come January 1st, I might need more, but whatever. We'll talk about that then.
And don't forget the blood drive going on this weekend at Halpin Music, so make sure you stop in there, and that could give you a chance to thank them for supporting Riverbend Talent, and you can also give a little blood.
And if you give blood, you get a $5 gift card to go into the store and buy something. So there you go.
Win-win for everyone there.
Maybe even a shot of orange juice. I don't know. I'm not going to, guarantee it, but usually you get a little orange juice when you get blood.
Maybe run into Matt Van Voorhis or give him blood.
And buy some insurance. I don't know. Insure whatever you buy for your $5. I don't know. I'm confused now. We got some brand new guests in house with us though. Not brand new to the world.
Okay.
But brand new to our show.
Brand new to your world.
We've got
probably.
Paul Everhart. Hello, Paul. Paul Light. I'm sorry. I said it wrong. We've got Lisa Everhart Light and Paul Light. Is that right? Did I get it right now?
That is correct.
I got your, because you have the double last name.
I do.
It sort of confused me which was which.
That's all
right.
We
got Paul Light and we've got Lisa Everhart
My
Light.
wife does all the thinking.
So.
Just ask her.
and we never had you guys on the show, and I don't know why, because you've been playing music around the area for a long time.
It's one of those things that, we focus on the playing piece of it, and a lot of times we forget to promote ourselves.
Right.
Always at the last minute.
Yeah.
But Lisa's handled most all the I can't, as far as computers and stuff and doing all that stuff, I just kind of go, okay. And she's been doing it and doing a great job. Doing a great job at it, but it's so much.
It is.
At least having a couple clubs in our history, you invite people that can come there.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah,
the music is what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
The promotion is just what you have to do to keep it going.
And you were talking about Halpin Music. I bought a 1972. I bought a, not new at the time, was a I don't know, probably a 67 Gibson 355 stereo that had the neck broken, and it was fixed. And I bought it for $400.
There you go, a glued neck.
Halpin music. Mrs. Halpin. Mrs. Halpin.
It's amazing how many people, as soon as we say our sponsors Halpin, I got my first guitar there. Oh, I started with a trumpet. You know, I mean, everybody who's lived in this town who's a musician has dawned the doors of Halpin.
My son won a guitar from the Halpin Fest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I've never won a guitar.
Well, was it the Halpin? It was a Spring Fest or what was that called up at there outside of Halpin?
One of their outdoor festival parties, Oktoberfest. Yeah, one of those mini parties that they've had out there. So
great.
Yeah. No, you've never won a guitar, Pigpen, but you've had several given to you.
Yeah, I'm not.
Well, that's kind of cooler.
I've had a few.
I didn't want people to feel sorry for you.
Nah, I wasn't trying to get pity. I've been lucky enough to have a few really nice ones handed to me. My favorite one, still my '78 Gretsch, was just a handoff, so I'm not complaining. All right, let's move on. This is not about me or my '78 Gretsch.
It will be if we keep going.
This is about Everhart and Light, and we'll circle back around to this, but they're going to be playing Bushfest, which is next weekend.
Okay.
They're going to be playing on Friday.
Okay.
So 1 week from tomorrow, they will be donning the stage at Bushfest, the main stage up at the VFW in Cottage, 7:30 p.m. their stage time. Okay. I wanted to hit that early because
you'll forget.
Because I will forget, but we're going to try and circle back around to that if I can remember for the next, so many minutes. Anyway, let's dig back though into a little bit of Paul's history because
you mentioned like he had a couple clubs there. I'm hanging on that.
What I was going to do, right before we started this interview, John Scanlon was sitting here.
Oh yeah,
and he got scared.
Oh, he ran.
He did. He got scared and ran. He's like, guys, I'm nervous.
That is fake news.
Totally fake.
He's never.
Totally fake news. But John Scanlon did say that his very first band was with Mr. Paul Light.
There you go.
Well, it was art.
I didn't know that.
Well, it was. I was a sophomore at Alton High, and it was an art class, and John was an art major.
Of course.
And actually, really, everybody really looked up to John. He was the guy. And we had art together with this fellow Jerry Gaybar, and Jerry's still around in town. He was the art teacher back then. He had the hippie bus, and he actually was a rock singer. He was in a band called The Touch years ago. But anyway, he was our art teacher. He was like 23, we were 17, whatever.
Nice.
And John and I started playing and jamming with whoever, trying to get things going. And what I do remember from one of the gigs was we actually carted over. It was the Pizza Inn over there off of 270 from years ago, and we put an upright piano on a pickup truck and hauled it over there. And, so that's what I remember about that.
That is a rough. As much as I've complained about moving gear, I've never moved an upright piano for a gear.
And amazingly, I guess it was in tune. I don't know. It was a pizza place.
Probably not.
It was snowing. It was snowing.
Now, that band was called ISIS.
Yeah.
But this was before the whole Middle Eastern.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
This is more the goddess Isis we're talking about.
There's the goddess Isis.
Is it spelled the same?
Yeah. I believe so. Yeah.
How could it be before the middle? What are you going with there?
Before they used
before
the
ISIS
term.
existed?
Yeah.
Before
okay.
73, not
before the
93.
Middle East existed. Dude, there was nothing in the Middle East.
3000 BC or something?
These guys go way back. Man.
Yeah, because if it would have been after ISIS, that would have just been not cool, Paul.
Tell John.
It might have been a tongue-in-cheek thing. I don't know.
I don't think it was.
So there you go.
I do not think it was.
ISIS. And now after ISIS, you were in, what was it, Zublon Pike?
Yeah, it was a high school band. It was called Zebulon Pike.
Zebulon. I said it
Yeah,
wrong. I don't remember that band, but I liked it. I thought that was a weird name.
Do you remember Rock Springs Park with the pavilion that was up there? Up at Rock Springs Park,
right.
the big wooden pavilion. I used to rent that out, and we would have the band play and charge $1 to get in, and go around to the schools on Friday and with the flyers and get all the kids in there sitting on the floor cross-legged and, listening to some heavy rock music.
Nice. Grand Funk.
Grand Funk.
Right.
It was Grand Funk Road. I still got I got a lot of pictures from that. It was some heavy stuff.
Now, was Mr. John Mondini
Dean in that band?
John was, and we actually were in 8th grade together and started playing together. And
Wow.
one of our first gigs was the Sports Tap. It was called the Tug's Tavern.
Tug's Tavern.
And Mondon lived down the hill on Western Avenue, and his mom used to go up there, and we carried our equipment up the back way to Tug's Tavern and played our first gig there. And
I don't remember Tugs. I think there was one called Tugs and Pulls.
I don't think you were born yet.
I don't think you were born yet.
I guess not.
It was right. It was the same building. That's like you're talking about going back to Cottage Hills. I mean, those places, those were some
Forkyville.
Those
Don't
were
feel bad. I don't think I was
played
born yet either.
Forkyville, and just a lot of. It was a different time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's. It was a great breeding ground to learn how to play music around some great players. There were a lot of great players in this town. A lot of great drummers.
Really?
Yeah, there was. I can't keep up with who's who with the
No,
younger
the drummer
crowd.
part. That's
The drummer part. Yeah. Funny, I'm turning other musicians into drummers all the time. I know you play bass, but you'll play drums. It's fine.
We had to have a drummer joke. Yeah.
But I always enjoyed being in a group, and you know, I did make a living at it for quite a while when I was younger, and but you know, we're just trying to keep it going, you know.
Was starting off in high school with some guys like Mr. Scanlon and Mr. Mondon. Oh,
Yeah.
man. You're starting off with some fine people there. And then now you went to college after that and met a whole new...
Well, you know, there was all, you know, there were city, you know, each city had its band, and each kind of area had its groups, and you know, as you kind of work the audience,
and then there's regional,
Yeah,
and then
they
there's
had-
national.
they had the teen towns, and you know, then the bars came out. We were talking about the bars that opened when the drinking age turned to 19. It was for beer. It was for beer and wine.
Right.
He was on
Wasn't-
Star Search.
We're working our way to that one, baby.
I wish we would have brought a
Yeah.
clip of that.
Yeah,
He
I
does
do
a high.
have-
He does a high kick.
No.
He jumps off of a. He jumps off of a.
No, you don't.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. Is this on?
I'm not good
Platform
at it.
shoes.
I thought I was pretty good at it.
and this
Yeah. Can we find this on
I
YouTube?
would-
Yes, with
Yeah.
platform shoes
I just got
and
them
a
off the
half
master
shirt.
tapes I found.
Did you have a half shirt on?
Oh,
I didn't have the half shirt. We used to go to the merry-go-round down at Eastgate and buy our clothes.
oh.
No, that was the Griffin band. that
Half
for
shirt
sure.
with long sleeves.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
That's great.
You guys are killing me. But yeah, you know when.
So was it during college or right after when you hooked up with Ike Heisner?
Yeah, Heisler. Actually, I was going to tell you when I went to college at McKendree, is down in Lebanon.
Yeah.
I roadied and helped load in sticks into the student union.
Nice.
Yeah, and Head East and Star Castle all
Okay.
played there in the student library, and
Shh.
and they were on their way.
Check
You
that
know,
out.
they matter of fact, Head East had an album out as flat as a pancake.
Okay.
The original album cover was a pancake,
Right.
and then when they got to A&M just took the record and put a new cover on it.
Is that the same band that played at the prison?
Griffin was. Oh, I forgot to tell you that we did play at a prison.
All right. Well, once we get to Griffin, we'll cover
right.
that. We're working our way because we still got to talk about the night gallery
Oh,
and
yeah.
let me know about what happened.
Well, you know, like I said, it was like all of a sudden the teenagers were let loose to go hear some music, and it was a big place. They opened to Bill Killian and Bill. Oh, geez, I can't think. There's two Bills, great guys. They opened it up as up Highway 67, about 5 miles north Alton. And they started having local rock groups, regional, and Mama's Pride played there, you know.
Yeah, the Liston Boys.
And, yep, and so it was a place that was local to home, you know. Quite a few times, I don't know how I got home from the nickel beer. Nickel beer. Can you imagine nickel beer and 19-year-old
Oh,
guys?
man.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Bill Benjamin was the other Bill, and he was a sweetheart. But anyway, those guys, they basically put everybody on the map and given everybody a chance. And I just was hanging out there wanting to get into some of those bands, but these guys were older than me, a lot older really. But they, you know, the bands were always, you know, if they saw you interested, yeah, come on up and sit in on one. Come on up and sing one. All of them were like that.
Nice.
And, you know, so I got into it, and little by little I wormed my way into it and got a gig with one of them. And once we got in, like the Night Gallery at the time was like a lot of the other clubs around the St. Louis area. They were large enough; they would hold 1,000 people if they had to have a big show. And but it was still drinking. It was 21 over in St. Louis to drink. So all the kids from North County and Florissant were coming over here, and these places were packed.
Wow!
But it was a lot of fun and kind of dangerous, I suppose.
Yeah.
But man, we learned a lot, and there was just a lot. I mean, I just thought it was a tremendous amount of really great players.
Yeah,
and
amount of players.
and from there, for me, when I had gotten in the Effic band and played bass and got into a management company that was ran by a fellow named Ike Heisler, Heisler Productions out of Collinsville, and Ike, he was a unique individual, but he had about 60 or 70 bands that he booked, all in different tiers of Ike. If you're on the lower level, you're doing an Ike hike. That was about 300 miles that way.
All right.
Tomorrow's 300 miles that way.
Yeah.
And so I got in with that booking agency, and he booked all those bands, so they all knew each other. Everybody knew each other.
Right.
And then even I was over the other Collinsville, went to Swing City Music, and Art Reserve over there, older Art. He's got all the bands that he booked on the wall, and he's got another 40 or 50.
Yeah.
Right.
So these guys are all in Collinsville. So that's a lot of dang bands for back then. But that was it. That was it.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything else to do. So places like the Night Gallery, another place was the Granary, which was in Edwardsville. Like as you go out of town where the QT is, it was in the middle of the country. And just we were talking about Jim Dandy in Black Oak, Arkansas, and Griffin opened up for them on his 30th birthday at the Granary, and I remember him walking around them tights.
He still does. He still does.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh, geez. And Stonehenge was another place that was down in Lebanon, Illinois, that they were these big grain elevators that they would turn into rock clubs.
Well, the Coliseum, right?
The Coliseum.
Benel.
The Coliseum Benel.
Yeah.
We played up there quite a bit at the Prairie Tug. The Coliseum was...
Played a lot of places with Tug in the name.
Yeah.
What's up with
noticing
Tug?
that.
I don't know what these are.
Tuggies and... I don't know.
But the Coliseum, man, that place has got a lot of history.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Your first
Al
gig?
Capone. I mean, I don't know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Who told us that story? Is that Steve Scorfino?
Well, you just put two and two together, and how does a giant club end up in the middle of Benel, which happens to be
That's
the
right.
same area where, supposedly there were stills built in the old mines. I'm just saying.
I think it was Scorfino that was talking about a lot of
Yeah,
that.
we've had a few guys from up around there. Matt Taul's buddy told us a few stories from.
A lot going on up there with the whole Al Capone connection to the Benel.
Steve Scorpion, I remember Steve from
Ario,
from the old what's the St. Louis band?
Pavlov's Dog.
Pavlov's Dog.
yeah.
Yes.
Pavlov's Dog.
Yeah, he worked through Ike for a while, but there was a lot of bands, a lot of great musicians, a lot of guys trying to get somewhere in the music business,
Yeah.
And
And so after the Epic, though, you worked your way into Griffin.
I
right?
did, and the leader of the band was the lead singer, a great guy named Danny Prosser. He's passed away. He was Bob Cuban band years ago. All these guys played. Were older than me. They came from the horn bands, but Danny thought he thought he was losing his voice. I guess I don't know why he hired me, but he did because he had a great voice. And so anyway, I was 20 years old, 21, whatever, and these guys were older, and I was going to be the stand up and front lead singer, not to play guitar
front man now.
And they just pushed me out there, man. I'm like, okay. And we did routines.
Okay.
Like beer chugging contests.
High kick.
Yeah.
The high kicks, yes. How high are your platform shoes?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
But watching somebody chug a pitcher of beer and turn around and let it loose on the drum set.
Yeah.
That's not my drum set. Someone else's drum set. Right?
Yeah.
Oh man. Now hold on. These routines, beer chugging and high kicks, whatever. At the prison gig, did you do any of that at the prison
Yeah.
gig? Because Griffin played at a prison.
We did. Well, every spring was all
Inmate
the,
434, chug your beer quickly.
Do a high kick.
every
High kick. That would be hilarious, man.
you didn't want to do the high kick at the prison.
No.
Because I asked the lady, I said, they look like they're either going to want to blink me or blink me. Which one is it?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. And we had, it was Menard Prison.
Okay.
And we drove down there and we decided, we had some stuff, we're musicians. A little baggy here.
Yeah.
Right.
And we got half a mile from the prison. So, hey guys, you better throw that out back. We don't know what we're getting into.
Right.
So we go up, throw it out somewhere we could find it.
I was going to say, if I had a bush or something you can find, like,
we drive
just
into-
throw it randomly out, man.
We drive into the prison gates. Everybody out. So we get out, and it's like they're going to take us in there, a bunch of long-haired hippies.
Right.
And so you guys wait here, and we walked into the place, and they had the yard truck come over, and the prisoners took the stuff out of the truck, put it in the yard truck, and drove it to the auditorium. And so we finally get over to the auditorium, and we're setting up, and it's just like you see Johnny Cash. We were watching that. It's just like that. Only I wasn't feeling like no Johnny Cash. I mean, I don't know what I was feeling, but that was weird. And I asked this kid, this kind of like a, I don't know, trustee who was helping us out, move equipment around, young kid.
Liaison.
Yeah, I asked the lady that hired us. I said, well, he's a nice kid. What's he in here for? He goes, he was the one that murdered his parents in Peoria.
He seemed nice
He
until
seems
now.
nice enough.
Now he seems
And
less nice.
But every spring we had these gigs that Ike would get that weren't club gigs, like proms and after proms and prison gigs and when things like that. State mental hospital, just all kinds of weird experiences.
Yeah, it's life, baby.
It is. It is.
Man, so
Nice.
there you go, Griffin playing the prison. I think that might be a first for us. We've talked to a lot of musicians, done a lot of weird gigs, but I don't know we had.
I got some other ones, but we won't
What
go
about
there.
Phosphus? Where did Phosphus lay in your?
Well, they were there.
Was that before Griffin?
No, they were right there with us.
Right
It was
there with
Griffin, Faustus, and Effick and Full Moon were Ike's top bands at the time.
Right there.
And those guys were awesome. I mean, I'd go there and see them at Night Gallery. I'd be the only one sitting there, and they did the complete B-side of Abbey Road.
Wow.
Nice.
Just
Note for note, just because
they could.
Just
I don't
'cause
think the
they could.
Beatles ever did that.
They didn't.
No.
They didn't. Those guys were just something else.
Man.
And,
so now, did you steal a band? Did you steal Troop's band or something like that?
No,
What do I hear about that? Or was
no.
Crosswind?
No, I didn't. Well, no, Crosswind was started. It was my brother and John Mondon and Ben Fowler, and those guys were guys I grew up with. But I kind of
that was the band out west.
no, that was the band here in the Alton area. But once I had gotten in Griffin, I was trying to pull the Crosswind boys
Okay.
into play. So I got them some auditions, the clubs and stuff, and they finally got on the roster and were working. And then the Griffin band that I had joined, another fellow that was in Griffin years ago, a fellow named Felix Robinson, and Felix goes back to Bob Cuban band too. But he ended up going to California in the early 70s before us, and he had been in Griffin and he had been in Sky High, and we were both in those bands but at different times. So anyway, he goes out there and he gets an audition and gets an Angel, gets the gig with Angel.
Nice.
The antitheses of Kiss. I mean, here he was coming up out of the floor, the long hair, the look. Punky Meadows, and the whole. That was the guy.
Yeah.
I mean, but anyway, and Felix was a great player, and so anyway, those guys, we all knew each other, and they said, well, Felix said, come on out if we ever get a chance. Well, they're going on out, so it was the whole band left me hanging there, so I kept it going, and because it was just an opportunity. What was I going to do? I was working. That was my job.
Right. Griffin is your job.
That was my
So
job.
you're still Griffin, even if the rest of them
That's
left.
right. And we had jobs booked.
Right.
Prom season was coming. I was looking at that planner, $1,000, $1,500, we're going to play those gigs, boys.
Band together.
So at first, everybody hated me. Some of the guys, Daryl Harbison, that came to Shakers with us, he was one of the guys that ended up coming to work in Griffin.
He never hated you.
No, he didn't hate me. No, he's a great guy. But we had a lot of people through that band, and it was. And another weird story. You mind if I tell the story about Joe's guitar? Do we got some time?
Yeah.
It's a fun story. I don't know that anybody's ever heard it.
No.
I've heard of Joe's Garage.
Well, there was a band called there was a band called Full Moon Consort. I don't know if you ever heard of them, but they did all originals.
Cool.
And they were all kind of odd.
Okay.
Great musicians. They were not commercial.
Nice.
Perfect.
They played the same clubs and just had a heck of a time drawing anybody. But eventually they got a pretty good cult crowd.
Yeah.
Really.
Which is the best crowd to get.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, and they did one album called Men in the Moon, and it's a great album. Anyway, they went to California to get a deal, and they knew Michael McDonald. And Michael was from Florissant.
Right.
And they had played with him in some earlier bands. These guys were older than me. And so they went out there, and Chuck Sabatino, who was the main writer, got in with Michael. And Michael said, "That's great, good to see you, Chuck, but I don't really think I need the rest of the band." so it was Joe Marshall and Steve Strayhorn and a couple of the other guys. But I was standing in Heisler's office one day, and he gets a phone call from these guys saying, "We just got fired, and we got to come back to St. Louis." And they were out in L.A. And I don't remember if it was right then and there, but I said something like, "They got a job right now."
I got this calendar, all these gigs.
It's it. Well, but these guys were awesome players. Steve Strayhorn, if you Google his name and SIU, they've got a demo of him teaching one of the classes there. And this is a guy who did not read.
Wow.
Just a phenomenal player. Joe was the same way. These guys came up in the 60s, or not so much, pretty much Joe did. Joe was about 9 years older than me, but Gaslight Square down in St. Louis, when the old clubs were dying out
Right.
in the early 60s, late 60s, mainly the early 60s. He plays up here, Edick. Greg plays. I saw his dad, George Edick, had a club in Gaslight Square, and I'm trying to think of the name of it, but everybody played there. Ike and Tina Turner.
Right.
A lot of people. Band called the Allman Joys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Pre-Allman Brothers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, all these guys that I played with hung out down there where these guys played and got to know them. And they're still playing bars, you know.
Right.
And so I guess I didn't really, I had heard this story about Joe Marshall, the guitar player, had Duane Allman's guitar.
Wow.
And I had heard that years ago, and I asked Joe. Joe is a very, very laid-back guy that, type of a thing. And he had told me this story once, and I kind of just didn't really think about it much at the time until the last couple of months I started thinking about it, because I'm thinking, whatever happened to all that? And I found, and what had happened was Greg and Duane Allman both had girlfriends and wives from St. Louis and kids.
Right.
Yeah,
Devin Allman. I know
right.
Devin.
Well, Joe had introduced Duane to his future wife or girlfriend. She was from St. Louis.
Right.
So when Duane died, as the story goes, she gave Joe his guitar
For the introduction.
to hold on to until his daughter was 21.
Oh. Wow.
And it was his 59 Gibson Cherry Sunburst.
Wow.
And I played in the band with it. I'm pretty fairly sure that I went over and picked it up numerous times
And didn't even know what it was.
I did know that's the thing. I did know what it was.
Wow.
But it was 40 years ago. I mean, we all loved Duane Allman back then.
Yeah.
Right.
I remember talking about John Mon, and everybody go, "Where's John at?" John's up on the can. I can hear him playing the guitar. What's he playing? Duane Allman
Duane
leads.
Allman,
He's up there. But for whatever reason, we just didn't think that much. I actually did. I wrecked the band truck, and thank God it wasn't in there. But it's such a unique story and such a kind of a full circle that an instrument goes through somebody's hands, because Joe was probably, him and Steve were both some of the only musicians that I ever met. Kind of like Terry and Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where
Terry Jones.
they'll stop and sit down and talk to you just just whatever. and they don't have that air about them that makes them like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have time for you. I'd love to sit here and talk to you, but I got to wait for my limo.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. But they were such good people and great players. And I was always a mediocre player. I learned by the seat of my pants. I was an opportunist. I learned how to sing because nobody else would.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
we've been there.
He says he's a mediocre player, but you made it to Star Search.
Well, but
I mean, you made it on to Star Search.
Look, honey, not everybody gets to do a high kick. Star Search in 1985, okay?
So I was in Griffin, and I was bored. I'd been there 5 years, and my brother was in the band with me, Mike, who's passed away, who was also a great player and a singer and a bass player. And but I left him in the band, left them all hanging. I didn't leave them hanging. I said, "Here, you guys take the band. I'm going to go do something else." Right. And I saw this band called the Wave Band, or they're called the Action. Previously, they were called the Wave Band, and I was telling you the story that Charlie Glenn was the lead singer in the Wave Band, and Charlie had just retired from being the lead singer at the St. Louis Blues hockey games. He sang so much for these games he blew his voice out.
Wow.
And come down and sing at Fast Eddie's.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was with them, and they were kind of a jazz-ish band, kind of a dance band. Anyway, he left, and they turned the band into the Action. And another fellow from around here, Tom Tarantino.
Oh yeah.
You remember Tommy?
Yeah.
He was in the
keyboard
band
player.
with me. Yeah, he was in Troop, and Tommy was in the band, and I got in the group. And we were just trying to really just push the originals and get out of St. Louis. We were playing all the big clubs in St. Louis and had a lot of good gigs. Opened up for Huey Lewis and the News. Opened up for a lot of bands at Mississippi Nights, places like that. And then we ended up doing this. We got a call from about an audition, and we didn't even really know what it was. We ran down there and did it, and never thought anything of it, really. And it was for the Star Search program. And I don't know, maybe it had been out about a year about that time. But
what year was it?
It was 84, yeah. But it was for the 85 season. And so I had quit the band. I mean, it was going nowhere, and we didn't have any real opportunities, and I decided I was going to go ahead and going out and try my hand at L.A. and see what it was all about. And so I went out there, and just within a few weeks, I get a call from the guys that they had got the audition, and they're coming out. And was like, could I do it, or blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, yeah, of course. I'm not doing nothing, so yeah, I'll do it.
He ran to merry-go-round.
I ran to merry-go-round.
Get a new outfit.
But we rehearsed. They came out, and they put us up at the Hilton on Sunset, the one that's always in the movies with the pool on top.
Right.
And I saw it the other day. It's next to the Laugh Factory or Comedy Club, and Gazzari's is down the street, and so anyway, they came out for the show, and we did 3 shows. We lost the third show.
Lost the third.
And
You didn't lose to Billy Hurst, did you?
no, he was
That was a different year.
Yeah, I think
I
he
was
came
just
about
checking.
10 years later.
probably 10 years later.
Okay.
Well, I was telling you guys that Rosie O'Donnell was on that show, and she was just starting out. She hadn't been anywhere.
She wasn't somewhat judged. She was a
She was
star.
a
on
she was
Star Search.
she was a
one of the
contestant.
comedians. Yeah,
Okay.
contestant.
Okay.
And I remember talking
I
to her.
kind of remember that, but it's been a while.
Yeah, and there were some other people on there I saw later. Just kind of look. I was trying to find the videos of those shows that I was on.
Yeah.
Because I had this one big hunker tape that somebody handed us.
Yeah.
And it was a big beta machine. Nobody could ever.
Figure it out.
And I had some VCRs, but nothing. And so I ended up taking them to a place over in Clayton, and they pulled them off the big tape. And the one of them's really good because it's the actual. The bear film,
Right, yeah, the actual raw
there's no
footage.
commercials, there's no nothing. It's,
Nice.
They go to commercial, Ed's sitting up there BSing with people.
Nice.
And it's really weird to look at it now because actually one of them, something screwed up with the sound, and we sat there, because the stage used to turn around.
Okay.
Right.
It was like the band on the front and back, and come
Right.
around. And
Turn around
come
for the
Right.
next act to be ready.
Yeah, and something happened and ours didn't come around, and they counted off, and I don't remember that at all. But I remember, all of a sudden it came up and boom, and then we're done.
Yeah.
and I don't remember anything of anything.
But you got a tape of it now.
I do have a videotape of the shows. Yeah.
So now you've got a memory.
I do.
You've got a memory of watching the videotape of it.
But anyway, I stayed out there in California. I ended up staying out there. My brother moved out, and we started up an acoustic duo called AKA. And another friend of ours, Ben Fowler, who was also from Alton and lived out there on the other side of L.A., he joined up with us, and we were a trio, and we did a lot of just opening up for other bands. We did the first open acoustic mic at the Troubadour.
I've uploaded some videos of AKA and my original band on our YouTube page, Everhart and Light.
Yeah.
And the original band's called Yield on Blue.
Yield on Blue and our original Everhart and Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also.
So
We got quite a catalog of songs.
now we're getting down to the Everhart and Light.
Yeah.
It's taken us a little while of history to get to this point, but in 1994 you came back home, right?
I did.
And that's we actually first you started Eat a Peach.
Well, I kind of called up the first person I knew. That was John.
Mondine.
That's right. And we have a couple of different side stories from that because we, in addition to the music, we have business. Right. John went into the guitar repair business.
Right.
And I was in the commercial, actually from being a roadie and a sound guy and building PA systems, I ended up in the sound and communications business.
Okay.
And so I did all that while I was doing music and raising kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Just not too much.
That's not too much.
But now it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
it's like holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy.
Wouldn't want to do it again.
No.
I don't have the energy to do it
Thank God
again.
you're young for that, you know. but yeah, it's been 20 years almost since the original Lighthouse. And
So what year was the original?
2000.
And that's like a block up there.
Yeah.
The original Lighthouse opened up in 2000.
2000, and we were doing really good. And we came around to the summer, and it was 2001, and it was Labor Day, and it was pretty good Labor Day. I'm going, man, I'm really hoping we get some business this fall. Then all of a sudden, 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of sucked the
Yeah.
life out of everything.
Everything. Yeah.
But then we got a lot of, it came back, and we got a lot of people liking it. Was just a really small place. I don't know if you've been there before.
When it was the Lighthouse Studios, I couldn't believe they fit a studio in that place.
Yeah.
Because I'm going, how did you fit a studio in there?
I tried to get every square inch out of that place. I cut the stairs in there
Oh, wow.
just to make
just
a
to
little
get
more
so the
room.
ladies could have it go to the bathroom.
We tried to
easier.
get a live performance recording thing going with Everhart and Lighthouse when we had it.
Yeah.
But we have.
So when did you two start making music together? Lisa
We've
and
been
Paul?
together
2009.
10 years ago. We've been together.
2009, you started making your music.
It's really
together?
a weird story, and I'll tell it because it is a true story. There was a fellow that lived here in town. His name was Jeff Hunter, and Jeff was a great musician, a couple of years older than me, and he had a studio up off of Main Street up there. And
MW Productions.
one of the times that I came back, you go look for your friends, and I always knew he was at the studio. So me and Mondin go over there and had a couple drinks, and we were in there banging away, playing a couple songs, and he goes, you guys, you probably need to go because I got this lady coming over that's looking at doing a project here. And she and I walked right past each other going in and out the door.
That was in 1994
or 5.
95.
95.
Wow.
And so she was just starting her first project there, which was that Benediction?
Benediction. It was some of the original Yield on Blue players are in the recording of Benediction. It was more of a studio project. It was at a gigging band.
Well, it was
at the time.
Mark. Who was Mark? Mark was on drums, and Wiggescheid, was he on that?
Mark Waters on drums and
Oh, wow.
percussion,
There you
and
go.
Steve Wiggescheid on
bass.
and who am I leaving out? Myself on keyboard.
Your brother-in-law, Mark. Your
No,
brother-in-law.
the
Mark.
Benediction.
Oh,
Was
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
My let's see. Yeah. So then we.
Yeah. So she was recording that project with another friend of ours. Jim Myatt was helping you on that project, was he not? And Jim was from the Amazon River Boys.
Okay.
From that band. He just passed away.
Yes, he did. Very dear friend of
A
mine.
couple of weeks ago.
Oh, sorry to hear
But she was a studio nerd, she was just.
I was in that
that's
studio
what
for
she-
10 years.
She did. So she did that, and she did the Yield on Blue first record album.
Yeah,
And,
we recorded 2 CDs there.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So needless to say, when I, was, everybody would love to find another musician that.
Right.
Well,
They
he was saying that back in 1996 or 95, we
Yeah.
kinda-
Yeah.
ships that passed in the night there at the studio, and then later in like 2000, when did you have
Well,
the Lighthouse?
she. I saw her at the Lighthouse once. She came in.
When did you have that?
2000, 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Yeah.
Was toward the,
Yeah.
and then I think it was like a year later
Yeah.
or so that we kind of got together. I think I went and saw you play because my friends were playing in your band, or Mark was playing.
Yeah.
Lamina and the Vipers over at Spirits.
Yeah, Spirit. Good old
Yeah.
Spirits.
It was like the week or 2 weeks after Easter.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So you guys cross paths in the night randomly, but then years later finally start
Right,
making
and the thing
tunes
is
together.
that we had so many mutual friends that were common friends we each had, so it was sort of it wasn't like strangers.
Right.
It was like we knew so many mutual people.
Yeah.
She actually hated me when she met me.
I did. I
She
hated.
was
Actually, I
like,
hated you for the 10 years I was at MW Productions.
Nothing's changed.
Watch out.
Well, you know what it was. I mean, when you're trying to run a business,
Yeah.
and that was the time she's talking about, because, you're trying to, like you say, you're trying to pull something off here, and you got people everywhere, and you're trying to manage it, and your attention span is just everywhere.
Yeah.
And, somebody comes up and talks to you, you're like, yeah. And I can't hear when there's a bunch of stuff going on anyway, so it's like, that's
So
what
he was
she
rude
thought.
to me. So,
Oh,
so I didn't like it for 10 years.
But she, getting to be, to me, which was getting to be and know another real songwriter, that somebody that was interested in writing songs.
Right.
She did that. She was that person.
I kind of consider myself a songwriter /
Yeah.
musician. That's how I
But
consider myself.
But she's ended up, once we got to Shakers, she's off the hook with the, we're able to do this jamming between ourselves and with other people.
I've definitely
so,
become a better keyboard player.
And we had enough to having
Because of that.
having Shakers and having the other place too. I always told people, I always kind of paid my own way because I didn't want anybody telling me what to do.
Right.
So I don't mind going to work another job if that money that I make is going to
support your art.
support my art.
Right.
Then
Absolutely.
Then that's what I was doing because it was going to make me a better player.
Right.
And the more that you play, man, you play.
The better
It's
you
just
get.
just starts. And to me, that's like
That's why we're willing to play for free.
That's why we all play.
Yeah, you want to be able to reach that level that you hit it every once in a while if you're lucky.
And each individual musician has their own
But we had
communication and their own relationship, like with the audience or even with their art, even with their own music.
Right.
I know that my own growth has been different than yours along the way, and so that's I think it's fantastic every single gig.
But having all those, we just because we were playing all the time, you can't get everybody to play all the time.
Right.
And a lot of people like to get paid.
Yeah.
So we played with a lot of people.
Yes, we did. That was
At
wonderful.
the last minute, a lot of times it's like, hang on, boys. And those were our funnest gigs because,
There were a few times up at Shakers, I have to say that we ended up with like a 14-piece band up there.
On that stage?
On the backstage.
On the backstage.
There were 14, but there were a good 10.
Oh,
There were a
man.
good 10.
But we had
So you opened Lighthouse originally in about 2000?
Yeah,
And then that lasted how long?
I had it for 4 years.
4 years?
Until I actually started another. I took another job at the same time. They wanted to hire me. I said, wait till I get this place open, then I'll go to work for you. Just let me get this done. So I did them both at the same time. And after about 4 years, I had an opportunity to be a partner in the company. And it was like I was really wore out from trying to run the Lighthouse. So Roger came along, and he was interested in buying it. So I sold it to Roger and his son. And
We look at these clubs as projects.
Yeah.
That's how we look at them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I did want to. It's not a good business model, to say, we're just going to have a club so we can set our stuff up and not have to move it.
That's the same business model I got.
That's exactly what the conversation is when we decide to do it. So
Everything's in the basement the way it is, and it'll go here.
That's
and it's
nice,
not gonna go. I mean, because
I've got a building that's my plan for it someday, is just to have all my equipment set up always press record.
One button. I got it on one button.
Right. Everything's already just hooked up, man. And it sure sounds like the dream, Dad, doesn't it? It sounds like the dream to me.
Pigpen likes to point out that, you don't get paid to play music. You get paid to carry your equipment in and out.
Right. That is correct.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get down to the point of it again, to wrap full circle around here. All of the story has led up to what's happening next weekend? Bushfest. Everhart and Light.
Hey.
Everhart and Light will be performing on the main stage at Bushfest Friday, October 11th. And that is at 7:30 p.m. approximately. So it's going to be 2 great days of music. Bushfest is always fun. It's extended to 2 days this year, so it's going to be Friday, October 11th, Saturday, October 12th. And all of this talk we've been talking about, Star Search and Ike Heisler, all of this. The reason we're telling you about this, the Yield on Blue, why are we talking about all this? Because Everhart and Light, Paul and Lisa, and along with Mr. John Scanlon, who we're pretending is right here, a ghost of him is still here next to us. They are going to be playing next Friday. So everybody make sure you get out there and check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you.
And you
all
guys,
originals.
All originals. So that's worth going to see.
It's
right
our new
there.
album coming out.
Yes.
right? And you guys got a YouTube channel if people want to check you out there, right?
Everhart and Light
Right.
at YouTube.
Right.
There you go.
What about other social media? Where can they find you?
Let's see, Facebook.
Facebook,
is Everhart and Light.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's the best place to catch up with you to see where you're playing is probably Facebook. And if anybody just wants to check out the videos, go to YouTube.
That's where I'm
exactly.
going.
There you
Go
go,
and
man.
subscribe.
Thanks so much for coming down
Thank
and telling us your
you.
story. We'll have
Appreciate
to
it.
have you come back. We're running out of time,
Hey.
but I would sit and talk all day,
Maybe
I'm sure.
next time Paul can do a high kick on our way out.
Right.
I want to see that shirt that's a half shirt with long sleeves. No.
I'll send you the video. I'll send the video to his email.
Platform shoes. Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much. We
you.
will be back with more Riverbend Talent right after
After
this.
this, brought to you by Halpin Music Company and Mr. Madman Voorhis of Macias Insurance.
Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Back to the action.
With Dennis Laird and Pigpen on 94.3 FM, The Big Z.
I'm Dennis, and our star Pigpen's with us.
Our star.
Somebody's got to be the star, man. But now we have special guests as we can preview an upcoming show.
See, now we've got a real star in the house, and everybody's going to know who I'm talking about when I say Sam Stovetop 4. Also next to him is Grant Pagano, but Sam Stovetop 4 is the star. Welcome to the show, Sam.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Glad to be on the show.
Yeah, so Sam, and next to you, of course, is Grant Pagano, but nobody cares about that right now.
I'm Grandpa.
you're Grandpa, that's right.
Grandpa Pagano.
Grandpa Pagano. But you, sir, have been, what are you, 14? The
Yes,
ripe old age of 14?
14.
You've already been out playing open mic nights?
Mm-hmm.
For how long? About a year at least?
About a year and a half-ish, maybe.
Not only are you out doing that, doing your own original songs?
Yes.
Out playing your own originals at 14, and now, come what, not this weekend, but the following weekend, your first official solo gig, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go, Bushfest?
Yeah.
And which day are you playing? Saturday?
I think so, yeah. Saturday around 1 o'clock.
Saturday at 1 o'clock. There you go.
All right.
There you go,
That's
man.
all.
That's going to be some excitement going on there. Now,
Yeah.
Sam's going to be on with us next
Right.
week and tell us his entire story. So we're not going to get into that right now.
Right.
What we're going to do is blaze through Friday and Saturday real quick. Before Clark Howard comes, I'm Clark Howard.
All right.
Welcome to my show. All right, let's do this Friday.
So yeah, the Bottle and Barrel is celebrating their first anniversary this weekend.
Awesome. Happy
So
to hear that.
big shows planned.
Right.
So 21 and up, $10 each day, or you can get a $15 weekend pass, and the shows run from 3 o'clock to 1 a.m. On Friday night, it's a METALLICATS tribute to Metallica.
The METALLICATS.
Right.
All right.
Pioneer Salesman
Nice.
and ASTRAL.
Awesome, man.
Right,
the
so that's
Astral
Friday.
Moth.
We'll get
Nice.
to Saturdays in a bit. We'll go
right.
through the rest of Friday first.
All right, we got Jay Sabo and Mark Harmon, 7 p.m. at Bossanova.
That's Mark Haggard.
Oh, Mark Haggard. Who did I say? Mark Harmon?
Yeah.
Sorry. We got Jay Sabo and Mark Haggard at 7 p.m. Bossanova. I don't pre-read this stuff. And my eyes, my eyes, I'm getting so old. Oh, jeez, I can barely see. Where's my glasses?
Matt Taul doing Bigelos Bistro for 2 more weeks, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, Bigelow's shutting down. Hate to hear that. A wonderful place to get some grub and just a fabulous atmosphere.
So
Hate to see those guys shutting down.
Yeah, 2 more weeks to get there and check out Matt Taul on Friday night, 6
There you
to
go.
9. Blarney Man doing Morrison's Irish Pub on Friday. Nightlife at Chez, Maryland and Alton. Plastic Kings down at the Pump House at 9:30. Flipside at the Franchise on Friday night.
And at 5 to 8 p.m., the Skylark brothers will be at the Stagger Inn again.
Now, wait a minute. It's 5 to 8. We don't know. And Skylark Brothers are at 9 o'clock.
Ah, see,
Mhm.
I
They
don't
didn't update
pre-read
the
this.
chalkboard, but Skylark Brothers are on it.
Hey, Butch, update the chalkboard.
I don't even know if that's the guy's name.
I don't know if Butch
Take
is really
the
in charge of that either. I'm sure he's probably not. I just
5 to 8 is Butch. Butch hires him.
Okay, so 5 to 8 is Butch, and
No,
then
he's the guy that books.
Oh, he's the guy who books. There
Okay,
you go.
so-
So 5 to 8 is someone, and Skylark Brothers, Jack Tweston and the boys will be 9 p.m. at Stagger Inn again.
Right.
Wicked Mojo, 9 p.m. at the Imperial Pub in Granite City.
Right. Mark Willis playing at the Wilder Theater on Friday night, 8 o'clock.
Dan Sproat, 5 p.m. at Aries Winery.
Larry Gwaltney, 6 to 9 at the Grafton Winery.
We got DJ Tommy Karaoke Circus, 9 p.m. at the Third Shoot in Alton.
And DJ Josh at the Back Bar in Edwardsville.
We got first anniversary of Who Dat's Southern Food in Collinsville. Free food, man, and $1 beers. Live music by Mr. Boulder Dash. So there
Yeah.
you go. Get on
Yeah.
down to Who Dat's.
The Graham Band, ever hear them?
Nope, never heard of them, but I bet they're no good. Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad you come in here?
Yeah, those guys suck.
So we got the Graham Band. That is Mr. Graham Pagano and Chile. Aaron McCoy, more affectionately known as Chile. Going to be at the Copper Dock and Winery in Pocahontas, home of Gretchen Wilson there. Yeah. She's probably going to come down and see, I'm sure of it. Let's just say she's going to make a special appearance.
That's the Grandpa Band, right? The Grandpa Band.
There's a
Go
picture
ahead.
of me out there somewhere of me with her.
Yeah, with her.
Yeah.
I saw that. I actually saw some video of that. So, okay, here we go, man. This is a good one. I'm going to give it to you. Do
I think
it.
Sam's Illuminati's hanging out with them already.
I know.
Callus Entertainment presents Randy Jackson of Zebra
There you go.
with Scott and Michelle opening up at 7 o'clock at LaSalle's in Granite City.
This is not
Tell
the
me what
first-
you want, Graham.
Tell me what you want.
Nice.
Tell me what you want.
I want my fillings back.
Oh, nothing like some falsetto to get your
Wrap up
teeth.
Friday night.
Right.
man.
It's not like we rehearsed that.
That was
What do you
pretty
mean
good.
sounds like? Wasn't that you that was rehearsing it with me in the dark last night? I don't know who that was. Anyway,
I think Randy Jackson heard that.
It's the Mark Harmon, whoever you were talking about.
That could have been. Could have been. I think he drove off the road earlier thinking he had a gig Friday night.
he's like, I got a gig. Okay, so
Okay, that takes us to Saturday.
There
Of
you
course,
go.
that's the Halpin Music Blood Drive from 10 to 2.
you get a $5 gift card for giving some blood.
Right?
We got Spilly Nelson residency at
Right.
Wiggler's in Edwardsville.
You know what that means, right?
That means they're going to be back regularly.
Yeah.
It is
Every
the
Saturday
regular-
night in October. Congratulations to Spilly
Nice.
Nelson for the steady gig.
And there we go. And they are some Wigglers, so that's a perfect place for them.
That's Holiday Shores in Edwardsville, right?
Yes, sir.
Then Bottle and Barrel, we talked about it earlier. They're day 2 of the first anniversary. Noon to 1, Somewhat Damaged, a tribute to 9 Inch Nails.
Nice.
Year 12, alternative rock. Shots Fired, alternative rock. Jay Brewer, electronic experimental. Moon Rocket, just rock. And more artists to be announced. I don't know if you've seen those guys, but
If you have not seen more artists to be announced, it is the band to definitely not know who it's going to be.
yeah.
We got that is the Bottle and Barrel on Saturday. We've got Patty at 8 p.m. at Morrison's Irish Pub on Saturday.
Big George Brock Jr. and the NGK band at the Old Bakery Brewery.
Smoking Blues happening. Mars Needs Guitar. He's 8 p.m. at Chez, Marilyn.
Borderline doing third shoot at 9:30 in Alton.
We got Isaiah Christian and the Rebel Saints, 7 p.m. at Bakers and Hale.
Bringing the Rebel Saints with him for that show.
Well, you know, the Rebel Saints, better than those regular Saints.
Mondin Band doing the patio at the Pump House 5 to 8, and then Throw the Horns at 9:30 at the Pump House.
We got, it says Doctoberfest.
That's right.
I like it.
It
Doctoberfest. That's going to have the Yacht Rockers, and that's at the loading dock in Grafton, Illinois.
Where else would you have Doctober?
Almost German.
It's almost German.
Yeah. Hawthorne Animal Hospital benefit for Brent Lay, and that's Mad Hoss Jackson at 1 p.m. and the Wild Nights at 6 p.m. at the Hog Pit on Saturday.
I think it's the White Nights.
Is that what I said?
The White Nights.
What'd I say?
Wild Nights, I think. But
well,
either one, I like the name Wild Nights.
I think that's
too.
probably just, I'm going to go back and listen to the tape because that's probably just your mind going wild.
I hear what I want to hear.
Right. Fake news.
Jonathan Baker, 3 p.m. at Aries Winery on Saturday night.
Billy Peak at the Grafton Winery, 3 to 7.
Hookie. Who is Hookie? Hookie will be at, not Kookie, Hookie. 7 p.m. at the Grafton Oyster Bar.
I want to point out to Grant, I want you to pass on to Mikey. See how I spell hookie? There's only one lowercase, and that's the I.
I'll let Mikey know.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy to know that. I might take a picture of that.
Right. Well, just time to log on cottonmouth.org. You can see it there.
We got the Bullseye Band, 3 to 7 p.m. at Mike LaRosa's Cabana Bar in Portage de Sioux.
Bacon, 9 p.m. at the Back Bar in Edwardsville.
Who don't love bacon?
We're not sure about the Stagger, but they'll do a 5 to 8 and a 9 p.m. at the Stagger, and we're waiting for the update on the chalkboard. Yeah.
We've got Off the Wall, 7 p.m. at Wild Pickens in Chesterfield.
And then this one's sent to me, the Ink Spot Block Party, 10th anniversary. Performances by Killer Me, Killer You, Common Jones, The Poor, Discrepancies, Divide the Empire, Outrun the Fall, Steeples, Blackwater 64, Bleach Out, Amongst the Masses, The 45, Man the Helm, Chasing Ginger, Black Creek Hollow, Dead Format, and acoustic performances by Scott Gherkin, Denver Wade Trent, Ryan Chaney, and the Fur-Birds. And that's at Big St. Charles Motorsports in West.
That is a lot going on right there. Holy smoke. In addition to that, Hard Drive will be playing 7 to 11
and at Eastgate.
JJ Thermos. Down at Eastgate at the JJ Thermos.
Yeah. And then Johnny Cash tribute on Saturday. Bill Voorhis, One More Round, Johnny Cash tribute at 7 p.m. at the Floody Gras. This is a benefit, and it's going to be at Mason Hollow Park in Grafton, and the money is going to help the flood victims.
There you go. Bud Summers at 12 p.m. at the Brown Bag Bistro, and the Far Gone Brothers at 5 p.m. at the Brown Bag Bistro on Saturday night.
And then Levi Tucker doing George's Local Brew at 7.
There you go. It wraps up the Saturday night in the River Bend. That's a lot of gigs for this side of the river on a Saturday.
We're not done yet with the weekend. Mondin Band doing the 10 pin, of course, 10 o'clock, and then Silver Creek Bluegrass Band doing Brown Bag Bistro on Sunday at 1.
We got an open mic night every Sunday and Wednesday at the Stagger Inn again.
Right. Borderline's 20th anniversary party, 2 p.m. at Third Chute in Alton.
Brushville, 2 to 6 p.m. Wild Pickens in Chesterfield, Illinois.
John Jarrett at Aries Winery at 2, and 3 Pedros at 2 o'clock at Grafton Winery.
We got Nightlife, 1 p.m. at the Hog Pit.
Right, and more Doctoberfest at the loading dock in Grafton, the Truckers at 2 p.m. on Sunday.
Nightlife again, 1 p.m. at Hog Pit. There we go. Yeah. TDB, again, man, one of those bands you don't want to miss. TDB, I think I got TDB. Is there a cure for that? I got to get a shot or something. They're going to be at Mike LaRosa's Cabana Bar.
That's my best friend's initials, believe it or not.
So Sam's best friend will be playing over there.
Awesome. And there is a cure for Sam's best friend. I don't know. Anyway, Double Barrel Brothers, 5 p.m. at the Back Bar in Edwardsville on Sunday.
And this one, Justice STL, 4 to 9 at Woodstock in Alton.
There you go.
That was an event sent to me. And every Monday night, open mic at the Bottle and Barrel in Alton. That's in the front part of the Bottle and Barrel with the Extraordinary Blues Band.
That covers the rest of the weekend, man. So there you go. So
I throw one out?
Yeah,
throw it out.
St. Charles,
Right.
Glenmark Farms, Music to Their Ears benefit. Hookie will be playing. Then after us is Rogers and Neenhouse.
When is that?
Sunday. This Sunday.
Sunday.
Where's that one at?
Glenmark Farms in St. Charles. It's called a Music to Their Ears benefit.
Nice.
Hookie's playing in the afternoon, and then Rogers and Neenhouse.
Oh, excellent, man. That's a good night.
Pretty
So they're going to
amazing.
make us sound really bad.
Terry Jones, Rogers, and Scott Neenhouse. Music legends right there. So
Man, we went way past this week, but what's new, Pigpen?
we did. So next week, though, Sam Four, who we just sort of introduced to you and said hi to, who's going to be playing at Bush Fest, he's going to be our guest. We're going to hear a little bit more from Sam about what's going on in his life.
We're about to,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to take you in there and put you on the table, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Deep investigation.
Oh, wow, it's getting weird.
Cavity search.
Put him on the table. Deep
Sorry,
investigation, cavity search. Oh.
I don't ride that way.
Oh, you will. Hey,
It's this
you
rock
want to
and
make
roll.
it in showbiz?
Yeah, rock
If
and
you
roll.
want to make it in showbiz,
Come on, man. We're nothing compared to the Illuminati.
You know, that would explain how the Stones got so big, you know?
wait till you're in the
learning
back.
quick.
Yeah, wait till you're in the back of a limo with an Illuminati guy, and the things they're going to ask you to do. If you want to make it, you're going to have to. Oh, wait a minute.
Okay.
All right, let's thank our sponsors and get out of here before I say
Let's
something I
do it.
shouldn't.
Yeah, Halpin Music and Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Macias Insurance urge you all to get out and support local music and art. And we'll talk to you next week.